Hey everyone, it's Pittico from Rock Daydream Nation, and today I've got a very special guest. I've got Brian Tatler from Saxon, also Diamond
Yay.
Head. How are you,
Yeah,
Brian?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So,
Good, good.
a lot of things happening this year, Brian. 50th year anniversary of Diamond Head, and of
hmm
course, you've been with Saxon. It must be coming up to 4 years or so, and you've got a lot of things happening. New album and a new tour. Are you amazed at the journey that your career has taken over this time?
I am really. I feel very lucky that I've been able to be a professional musician for, well, I became professional in 1980, so I suppose it's coming up to 46 years. But I started in 76 with the band, but, I had a day job at the time. But yes, I'm fortunate. I mean, it hasn't been easy. There's been tough times. There's been amazing times, but I didn't want to do anything else, and I kept going, doggedly to become a guitarist and a musician and a songwriter, and I mean it's great at the moment. I'm really enjoying being in Saxon. So that this has been something I didn't really expect to happen, of course, but a lovely challenge for me in later life, and I think very good for excuse me, very good for my playing, and very good for me mentally to have new challenges and to play with different people. And so it was an opportunity that I, you know, would not have turned down, because it's just a step up that ladder that I've been trying to climb, since I was a teenager.
Absolutely. When I first heard the news, I felt, gee, that's a really good fit. It seemed right. Can you explain to the folks how you got the call up to join the band? Did you actually have to audition, or you just got a call? Explain to the folks how you got into Saxon in
Okay,
2023.
so Diamond Head were the support band for Saxon from probably 2018 and into 2022. We probably did like 40 shows with Saxon across Europe and the UK, and I think we all got to know each other. We'd meet up at the gig each day. We'd be in catering and things like that, and all good vibes. Everybody got along, and I would chat to the different members of Saxon, and so we also had the same management and the same record label. And so scroll forward to the summer of 2022, and I got a phone call from the manager, Adam Parsons, who said that Paul Quinn had COVID. Would I be able to dep for him at a gig on the weekend at Steelhouse in Wales? So I said, yes, okay, great, fantastic. So I began learning the set. And then maybe 3 or 4 days later, I got a call saying, Paul's going to be okay for the gig. Thank you for learning the set, but Paul's going to be okay. But I thought,
Right.
that's interesting.
All
It's
right.
interesting they asked me, and I thought they could ask me again. And then I
Oh,
started to think, what about if Paul retired from Saxon? Would they ask me? So I started to think, if they ever asked me, I would say, yes, of course, no problem. And then in the March of 2023, that actually happened. The manager phoned and said, Paul Quinn is retiring from Saxon at the age of 71. And so would I be interested in stepping into his shoes? And he said, we've got a US tour, we've got a South American tour, we've got all these festivals, etc. And so I was like, yes, please, I will do that. And so I was very flattered to be asked. And I thought there's 1,000 guitarists would jump at this
yep.
gig. But
Yeah.
they must have decided. I mean, it's Biff's band primarily, so I would imagine Biff maybe looked at a few players, and they whittled it down to me. and I said yes. I mean, they may have had a short list, but I said yes, so they didn't need to phone anyone else. And so I again back to learning the set, and then my first gig was in July 2023 at Rockwave in Athens, in Greece. So a fantastic experience, and I've been really having fun ever since.
Absolutely. Did you know the guys personally in the olden days? Because they've got a similar sort of heritage to you. In the new wave of British heavy metal era, did you know these guys personally?
Only we'd bump into each other, really. We'd do a festival, or sometimes we'd bump into each other at the airport. And we'd go, oh, look, there's Saxon over there. And we'd go and say hello, because we might be paths cross and all that.
Yes.
So obviously they were aware of Diamond Head. We were aware of Saxon. But there was not phone numbers exchanged, and we never kind of worked together or.
Yeah, that was much later in your careers that you sort of crossed paths. So when you get into the band, was there an instant music adjustment for you, or did it take a little while to sort of change your style of playing to accommodate? Was there any changes to your style of playing to get into this band?
Yeah, I think it's fairly similar to Diamond Head. It is, as you say, we're both new wave of British heavy metal artists. So there's a similarity. We're both playing, heavy metal. The only thing I had to brush up on, really, apart from learning, all the material and trying to get it right in my head so that I could just look at the set list and know exactly how that song went and what keys guitar solo was in, etc. It was fast down picking. They do a lot of like Princess of the Night and Power and the Glory, and that. There's a lot of fast down picking, and I'm not that used to doing that. So I had to work on that a little bit to build maybe the strength a little bit in my right arm. I always think James Hetfield is the master of fast down picking. So that's what I had to do, really. Brush up on that, but it wasn't a million miles away, fortunately.
No, it's not.
So,
yeah, definitely in a similar ballpark. So you did a run of dates last year at playing the album Wheels of Steel. Has that been fun, playing a Foundation Saxon album in a live environment? Do you like doing shows like that, a whole album from start to finish?
Yes, I do. I learned that album, specifically for the tour, and we probably did 25, 30 nights or something. So yeah, it was great fun. They're really fast songs, really exciting, a lot of energy. I mean, that album came out in 1980 when they're a lot younger, and so it's an exciting album to play live. And of course, the crowd know the songs. We were already doing 3 songs off that album every night. We did Motorcycle Man, Wheels of Steel, and 747. But of course, the other songs we weren't doing very often, so I would learn them and then incorporate them into the set. But I've done that whole album thing with Diamond Head because we used to play the whole of Lightning to the Nations occasionally, like as a special event, or we did a 30th anniversary set of dates where, in 2010. And so we did the 30th anniversary. We'll play the whole of Lightning to the Nations from the track 1, which is Lightning to the Nations, to the last track, which is Helpless, I believe. So, and that's a very fast, exciting album. So that would work great live.
What are you noticing about the crowds? Are you seeing a lot of cross-generational audiences coming to these shows?
Yeah, definitely. And especially in Europe, and when we played places like Poland and Romania and places like that, very often can be quite a young audience, and they very often get down the front, And it's great to have that energy coming off the audience. I mean, we give off energy, and the audience gives energy back. So you get a cross mixture of diehard Saxon fans who've probably been there since the late 70s to kids who've got into Saxon maybe through their dads or something like that. Maybe on Spotify, when you go down that path of checking out, other bands of the ilk. If you, for example, you like Iron Maiden or something, you may want to check out, Angel Witch and Saxon and Girls' School or something like that.
Yep. Do you think Saxon are finally getting their due? Because in the 80s, they were hot stuff. They were right competing with Iron Maiden. Then they kind of dropped off. But I'm sort of noticing there's a bit of a resurgence. Are you noticing that as well? They're starting to get their critical due.
Right. Well, it's nice to think so. I'm only, I've only been in the band a few years, so I don't know what it was like, really. I don't know what it was like at the beginning. I mean, I remember seeing them on Top of the Pops, and I remember they used to tour a lot, and they all seemed to get big shows with Motorhead and festivals. I saw them in at the first Monsters of Rock in 1980, I believe it was, at Donington. And
Saxon was Rainbow support.
That's right.
With Graham Bonnet. Yes.
Priest. That's right. But Saxon went down really well. I was, probably skeptical until I saw them live, and then I thought, well, fair play. Yeah. They entertained the audience. They went down really well, and they probably made a lot of fans that day. So but I see younger people at the audience in the audiences now, and I mean, the reviews for the last album were great, and the reaction from people coming backstage and telling the band, how much they liked the new album was great. So to be a part of all that is lovely and satisfying that I'm involved, and I played on the album and we co-wrote songs together, and hopefully that will follow on with the new album, the same sort of process. And I'm from what I have heard, I think people will really like it. I think it's going to be at least as good, if not better, than the last album.
Well, that's a segue to my next question. How is the album? How's the album going? Is is it all the tracks have been laid? It's in the mixing process. Where's it at? In the
it's in mixing. It's with Andy Sneap up in Derby.
Well done. Andy Sneap's great, isn't he?
Andy Sneap again. He is fantastic. I think he's done about the last 5 Saxon albums or something like that. But I went up to do some guitars with him, and so that was fantastic. He is a top-notch producer, possibly the best metal producer out there, and he's been very loyal to Saxon by sticking with the band. And even though he's in Judas Priest, so he's a busy boy, but he's found time to fit in with this new Saxon album, and we're all very grateful. But he's mixing it, and I get sent through mixes and versions, and each time it seems to just get better and better. I can't really criticize it. I can't send him an email back and say, turn this vocal up a bit or something. I've just got nothing to say. It just sounds amazing.
But it's sounding good. It's sounding good, is it?
It's sounding great. So I'm more than happy. I think Andy's doing a fabulous job of mixing.
Yeah. Can you give us a scoop if we got a title yet, a working title?
Sorry.
Not quite yet. Not quite there.
That will come in good time.
All in good time. Very good.
And the subtitles.
Hey, tell us about your writing process. Do you demo stuff and bring it into the studio, or do you work out a lot of stuff within the studio, work songs?
No, yes, demos. Everybody seems to do home demos first. Then that gets passed on to Biff. And then, of course, Biff's got to write the lyrics and the melodies to the songs. So I think he sits with those songs for a while, and he might have a lot more than we need. because Nibs is writing and I'm writing, Doug's writing.
Yeah.
And so he's probably, I don't know how many songs he's got, but he might build up 30 songs or something. And then I think he sifts through them and finds lyrics that will work, and I like this title, and then I think that one will be good for this. And he goes through that process. And we toured the UK, we toured Europe in February. And I remember he got one of them boom boxes, a beat thing, where you play, and he connected his phone to it, and he'd be in the dressing room listening to the demos. And so occasionally I'd be, walking around backstage or something, and I'd think, oh, that's one of my demos coming. Where's that coming from? And it'd be Biff playing it in the dressing room through this system. And he's obviously, getting ready for ideas, or he's got ideas and he's working on lyrics and things. And so that process goes on for a while. I went up to Biff's a couple of times. I went up in April and September, and we'd have a day where we go over arrangements, and he'd say maybe that needs another chorus or something. And I'd go away and I'd do a new demo, and I'd maybe do a new arrangement, do a new part for the chorus or something. And again, you send stuff backwards and forwards until we're all reasonably happy, and then you go into rehearsal, and then everything's tweaked again. Sometimes it's like, right, I think there should be 2 choruses there, and that ending could be better. And we as a band, we go through the songs, and we sort of get it ready to record. So this time we were in Brighton rehearsing, and then we went over to Germany. We were in Brighton to rehearse for the album. Then we had the UK tour, and then we went over to Germany to start recording drums, guitars, bass in November, December.
Right. How many of your songs have made the cut?
I'm not 100% sure. We kind of all throw ideas in. So I think I've got quite a few ideas on this album. So I'm
good stuff.
Doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah. About 12 songs, 12, 14 songs. Is that
no, it's normally around 10.
10. Okay.
Around 10. But I mean, for vinyl, I think they don't like to go over 40, 42, 43 minutes, because it would end up being a double album, wouldn't it? Because of vinyl constraints.
I think that's the right time for a metal album. Anything over 42 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, some of the Van Halen albums are like 33 minutes long and stuff like that, like Diver Down and I think Women and Children First. But
Rainbow Rising.
The first Tom Petty album. But I think 40 minutes is about right. I've got albums that are like an hour long, and it almost becomes like a meal that's too big, too heavy. I don't necessarily need 14 songs, So that's just my preference. But I'm a bit old school, I suppose. And I quite like a 40+ minute album. 10 songs is fine. And you've got quality then, haven't you? Quality over quantity.
Absolutely. Do riffs come easy to you, Brian?
What's that?
Do riffs come easy to you?
No, I wouldn't say easy. Probably easier when I was younger, but as I get older, I think I've slowed down. But what I do, I practice a lot. I practice at home pretty much every day. And some days there's a riff. Oh, okay, that's good. Tape it, put it on the phone. And then I might go weeks where nothing else comes. But I've got these ideas on the phone then, and then I will review them, and I will maybe think that one's good, so I'll work on that. And then I've got a Pro Tools LE rig at home, so I will make demos at home and try and build the song up to a point where I like it. And then I've got a friend who's very good with drum programming. He's got Ableton and he plays bass. So again, I'll make a better demo at his place, and we'll send that to Biff as a file.
Absolutely. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a riff and you've got to go, I've got to get the guitar. I've got to put it down straight away.
I've sang it into the phone before now. I have done that as well. Yeah, get the guitar. I won't plug it in, but I'll just do it acoustically and record the riff. I don't know if it ever really is any better than. I think I'm better off playing and then something just comes. It sort of falls under your fingers sometimes. You just think, oh, that's good. And sometimes it's a mistake, isn't it? You might put your finger where you didn't intend to. And it just goes, oh, that was good. I like that.
Accidental. Accidentally comes out well. Yeah. Hey, when you're recording with Andy, does he get you to do lots of takes, repeat until it's right, or is he spontaneous, like first or second take, and
He I think he has it in his mind what he wants, and so he will go again, that bit again, and that was more like it, and again. And so you might end up doing a lick like 30 times or something. But
do you get a bit fatigued after like the 30th?
Yeah, your fingers after a few hours. It's intense concentration and focus trying to get maybe a fast section right or something, but everybody trusts him. We all know he can play. We all know his track record is great. So you tend to try and do your best so that Andy gives you the thumbs up. I've had it before, though. I've worked with top engineers and producers in the past, and I'm kind of I know what's coming. I know what to expect.
I mean, a lot of producers use Jedi mind tricks, don't they, just to get the best out of you? Does Andy do that to you? Does he I don't think he might fool you to do something and to get the best out of you?
I didn't notice any Jedi mind tricks. Perhaps it's very subtle.
Yeah, maybe. Going back in time, what are your musical heroes? What inspired you?
I mean, bands would be the obvious rock bands like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, all those. I mean, the 70s was such a fertile, creative time for rock music. So I was very lucky to be the sponge, the teenager with a guitar and the ambition to be in a band at that time, because mid 70s you've got the best of all these fantastic bands putting albums out every year. You've got AC/DC coming over, and then we had punk rock happen in the UK, which was a whole fresh burst of energy and a sort of do-it-yourself attitude. Because while I looked up to Jimmy Page or Ritchie Blackmore, I couldn't play like that. But once Steve Jones appeared on Top of the Pops, or So It Goes, I thought, I could do that. I could play Pretty Vacant, and it gave me a lot of impetus to do it, get out the bedroom, do a gig, don't worry about becoming, as good as Ritchie Blackmore. That very easily. So
that's interesting you say.
Rock was.
It's interesting you say that, because the new wave of British heavy metal, to my ears, had a little bit of punk energy. But there's some people I've interviewed and they go, no punk. And there are some people, like you talk to John McCoy, I've interviewed John Gallagher, and I get the feel that punk was part of the mix. What's your take on it? Do you think punk energy and the punk ethos was part of the new wave of British heavy metal?
It was to me, and Diamond Head. I think we all liked the punk. We would be 16 years old, it's 1976 into 1977. So it was just the raw energy of these bands, Ramones and things like that. I'd listened to John Peel, and John Peel was very hot on punk, and he was almost one of the first to play punk rock on Radio 1. So I was being exposed to all these new bands, and you'd see them in Sounds or Enemy week after week. Each week you'd have a new band, like, the Buzzcocks would appear, or the Clash, or the Jam, and I would think, oh, I like that, I like this, I like that, and I've still got all the love for classic rock and progressive rock. I liked, bands like Yes and Genesis and Gentle Giant, but I also now like things like the Jam, for example, or Ramones or something.
Yes.
So I think it all went into this melting pot, and combined with the four members of Diamond Head, each player bringing his own take to the band, made us original. And I think each band has that. It's a collection of influences, and the 4 or 5 players is what makes that band sound different to this band. So yeah, I always say punk was part of Diamond Head's energy. Songs like Helpless or Streets of Gold, they were fast, exciting, and we would write some songs just to excite the audience. We just know that if we play a fast song, it's going to go down well. It's going to go down better than a slow song. We almost didn't do any slow songs because you don't want to lose the energy in the room. We haven't got an album out. Nobody knows the material. So we have to, sink or swim on the night in a pub or a club where no one knows any of our material. So we just sort of, smash them around the face.
Yeah. In that era, did you do any bills with pure punk bands?
There was a couple.
Yeah.
It was unintentional, but you'd get to you maybe an agent, and they'd book you on. And there was a band called Dangerous Girls from Birmingham. They supported us. There was Suburban Studs, I think. There was a couple of times, we'd think, oh, it's a punk band,
Yeah. And how were the audiences? Were they sort of grooving on you as well as the punk? Did you notice a little bit of cross-pollination, or was it very segmented?
Yes, I think you'd get, especially with Motorhead. Motorhead seemed to straddle, if you like, both styles, because they've got the energy, so they'd bring in the punks, and they were basically a rock band, so they'd bring in the rock fans as well. So they were an important bridge between the styles, and they upped the ante, didn't they, with energy and speed. And I think it's something Diamond Head did, that we would cherry pick from different bands. Like we'd cherry pick something from Black Sabbath and something from Judas Priest. Like, for example, Exciter was a very fast song for the time. So we'd think, let's try and do something like that, something fast and exciting. Or we'd cherry something from Budgie over here, or AC/DC. And we'd just pick almost the best bits, if you like. We'd try and steal a bit of Deep Purple and a bit of, and filter the stuff we liked. And we liked fast, exciting songs.
Absolutely. And a lot of bands have cited your band as an influence, obviously, Metallica and Megadeth. That must be really gratifying. All these other next generation bands citing your band as an influence.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you don't know that's going to come down the pipeline. But once that started happening, I think it gave Diamond Head an extra, notch of credibility. To be an influential band is always nice, isn't it? And yeah, we were very flattered to get name checked by Metallica or Megadeth in interviews and magazines. But yeah, and then obviously Metallica covered Am I Evil in '84, and so again they gave it a new lease of life. There was the Creeping Death EP. I think that sold 100,000 copies. So we just thought immediately there's another 100,000 people who've heard Am I Evil, and on it went. It got released on B-sides and bonus tracks and live albums, and it's still to this day. They still play it live to this day. don't they, Metallica? So that song has been, a breadwinner for us, but also a calling card for like credibility and just if you go see a band, even if you only know one song, that's a definite selling point, isn't it? If you say, I don't know any of the material, but at least with Diamond Head, you can say, well, they wrote Am I Evil? And people would go, oh, yeah, okay, I know that. All right, I'll go and check them out. So we found that a lot of people got into Diamond Head through Metallica. And they'll almost apologetically come up to me and say, I only discovered Diamond Head through Metallica. And I think, well, it doesn't really matter, how you got here.
At least it's the entry point,
Yeah, there is an entry point. Yeah, it's convoluted, but they get there.
Yeah, not being facetious, but could you retire on the royalties out of that song, or you still got to keep working?
It's better if I keep working.
Keep it going. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it is amazing, and it has peaks and troughs. Like when they released the Garage Inc. double album in 1998, I think there was a peak because it did 5 million copies. But up and down, and it always produces an income for me. And sure, but I think I prefer to work and earn some money, the hard way.
I mean, taking the financial aspect out of it, the song's got a life of its own. What is so special about this song? Have you ever sort of reflected and go, why this song?
Possibly. I've had people say, why don't you write another Am I Evil? Like it's that simple.
Probably
it's something I hadn't considered.
The record company.
I don't know what makes it special other than, I mean, there's a number of parts. If you analyze it, it's a great riff. It's a great chorus. It's got dynamics, which is very hard to write into songs. It's very easy to have just a flat row of we all start there and we all finish there. But if you have a bit where the drums drop out and the bass drops out, or the tempo changes, there's 4 tempo changes in that song, and it's got different sections, and that just keeps the interest. I think it's clever the way Sean can sing Am I Evil over the main riff, and then Am I Evil over the fast riff as well. So it just locks the whole section together. It's 7 minutes 40 seconds long, and yet it doesn't become too long or boring. But also it's got probably one of my best guitar solos in, fortunately, that I managed to arrange that solo and get it together in time for when we made the record in 1980. And so I have to play that solo, all the time. But fortunately, it's a really good solo, and I'm very proud of it. But it does have a number of components that just work. Like even if you're in, 2 guys in a rehearsal room, it sounds okay.
Yeah, I think it's got an underlying menace all the way through in a good way. And
that's fair. Yeah.
There's
something about it. There is a darkness about it that is. Oh, that's good. That is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just do a name check for a local band you may or may not have heard. Mortal Sin. They're a bit of an Australian thrash legendary band, and they used to play that as part of their live set in the 80s. So we heard it thinking it was Metallica and did our research, and then we came back to you. So that's how things work out, and we come to the source, and that's how I think a lot of folks have discovered your catalogue by 2 degrees of separation. Got a question for you. The band, has had a lot of swings and roundabouts. What would Brian Tatler tell Brian Tatler in 1980? The 2026 version, Brian Tatler tell Brian Tatler in 1980, who's about to record Lightning the Nations. What lessons would you tell him? What advice would you tell Brian?
It's a good question. I mean, it's probably hypothetical that, because I think if I'd made certain suggestions, the course of history might have changed, irrevocably. Like, for example, we didn't have very good management, but I don't think if I'd have been the guy, keep going, no money, we need new management, we need this, we need that, it might have all fell apart in a big row or something. So maybe it was just what it was, and I mean, to this day, myself and the singer, Sean Harris, I mean, fantastic singer, fantastic writer, but his career has been very strange in that he doesn't do anything hardly these days. He don't do gigs, he don't make records. So maybe he was just not that guy who wanted to, conquer the world and tour the world. You've got to be able to tour. You've got to be able to leave the house for 6 months and get on a plane. And I don't think that's what Sean wanted to do ultimately. So although I would love to have turned Diamond Head into a big band like a U2 or an AC/DC, I couldn't do it. I don't think I had the brain. I'm not a Lars Ulrich. I'm not a Mick Jagger. I'm not a Steve Harris. I don't think I had that brain to drive the business side of the band. Well, I know I didn't have the brain. I wanted to be the guitarist, the musician. I was interested in writing. I liked playing live, but I was not interested in how many tickets have we sold, how much promotion do we need to do, who's going to be the drum tech on the next US tour, and sorting out all the details. It was not my passion and not really my speciality. So I think it would have been difficult to tell. I'll tell what I would have told Brian Tatler in 1980 was to practice in a certain way, hold the pick in a certain way, because I've learned so much over time. Do these scales, do these modes, listen to this guitarist, I think I wish I would have had maybe some lessons off a really top guitarist who could have said, right, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'd like to have maybe spent more time practicing the right things back in the day. I would also have said, your main source of income is going to be publishing. So learn a bit about publishing and live work. So those are the two areas to specialize in.
Well, I mean, you've written some great songs and your guitar work. I'm not going to knock it. So I think you're selling yourself a little bit short. But would the Brian of 2026 have told Diamond Head to sign with MCA Records and record Borrowed Time? Because that's
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
that was the best offer we had. Yeah. A lot of the other labels wanted to sign, like to do 2 singles or something, and we always moaned that we weren't a singles band. We pretentiously thought we were going to be Led Zeppelin or something. We'd heard about Led Zeppelin signing to Atlantic for £200,000 and not releasing any singles, and we loved the Led Zeppelin albums, So we thought that's how you do it. You write long songs, you don't release singles, you don't go on Top of the Pops. Naively. So we kind of avoided that. And then when Charlie Ayres wanted to sign us to MCA, and that was going to be a 5-album deal, we thought, that's it, let's do that. And we didn't think there was anything wrong with MCA. I mean, ultimately, it didn't work out because of partly management, just clashing. There's a lot of different reasons why it didn't really work out, but I don't blame the label, really.
Okay, yeah. So Saxon are touring Europe. They're doing the festival circuit. Do you enjoy the festival shows, or do you prefer the more intimate, doing the concert halls?
No, I like both.
Or both.
Yeah, I absolutely like both. I've enjoyed every single gig I've done with Saxon. I think I've done about 125 so far. And the organisation that goes into a Saxon show is fabulous. The crew, I'm used to, gear in the van and hugging 4x12s up flights of steps and things like that. But to get to the gig and everything's done, everything's set up, and sometimes you sound check, sometimes you don't. You do a line check. So I don't mind if there's 50,000 people there. I don't get nervous. I'm okay. I've never really had stage fright or been scared to go on. I think I prepare. I do my homework. I warm up backstage and things like that. And I really enjoy all the gigs. I think they're very exciting. There's a good energy in the crowd, and everybody in Saxon's, good at their job, obviously, but really good players. And so it's just a pleasure to work with the guys, and the great songs.
So where do you see your future in Saxon? Is this this is where you're gonna stay until you retire, whenever that's gonna happen?
That's what I think. Yeah, I think everybody thinks the same. We'll just go until we can't go anymore, till the wheels fall off. As long as Biff can do it, then we can do it. I mean, Biff's just turned 75.
Yeah, how's he shaping up, by the way? How's he shaping up?
He's fantastic. Yeah, I think, he had the operation last year.
Yeah.
And when we got together in Brighton to rehearse, we weren't sure how he was going to be, particularly. We hadn't seen him for a while. I mean, Nigel lives in Texas, so Nibs moves between Germany and LA. So none of us had particularly spent time with him. And so we didn't know how he was going to be in rehearsal. And he was fantastic. It was almost like turn the clock back 6 months before the op. He was absolutely in good voice and powerful. So we all thought then, oh, okay, Biff's back. He's back to health. So, and then the tour was great. So as long as Biff can do it, everybody else wants to do it. We all want Biff to be well and keep going. And I think it's all in his hands. I mean, he's very driven, and he loves the band, so much. He must have put, incredible amounts of effort and time into Saxon to keep it alive. And everybody respects him for that. And we'll just keep going until we can go no more.
Absolutely, and it must be inspirational, like what he's gone through, and he's just up front, and he's just leading the band, and into the future. I do have to ask you a question. With the 50th anniversary of Diamond Head, do you see that the doors open for any special occasion concerts or anything with Diamond Head with the rest of the band in any shape or form, or is that door closed?
No, it's not closed. I said from day one, I don't want to split up Diamond Head just because I've joined Saxon. I don't think we should disband it or anything. I mean, it's probably difficult for the other guys to cling on because, they're probably out earning money however way they can. And I think if the right offer comes along, we would probably do something. And I've said, if Saxon stop, I would kickstart Diamond Head again, and we could do some shows. But I don't know. It's very much up in the air. The last thing we did some festivals in 2023, and that's the last time we played together. So I think the future's unwritten. Just see what happens. I think everybody will be, as long as diaries allowed. I think everybody would still be okay. We'll do it, and we'd just have to rehearse again and get back up to speed. But it's not closed. Closed for business. It still says open, on the door.
Yeah. Well, Brian, as I said at the start of the show, when I heard that you joined the band Saxon, it just felt right. I don't know why. It's just one of those things, and I think you fit like a glove in that band, and you're doing some wonderful work, and we're really excited when the album's coming out. Have you got an idea? Is it going to be the last quarter of the year? Have you got some sort of when it may come out? an estimate?
I don't know. You know, as you know, I'm the last man in, so I don't get to know all the details.
Yeah.
It's Biff and management and
We'll stay tuned. We'll stay tuned.
We'll know, you know, we'll be planning that.
Absolutely.
So a number of factors like tours and vinyl and things in the pipeline, but I haven't got a date. No, when it will come out.
We'll stay tuned. And as I always say to my guests, we would love you guys to come back to Australia. I don't think we've ever seen you, Brian.
I've never been.
You've got to come to Australia. So
I've never been. I've never been to New Zealand either. I'd love to.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can twist, you know, the band management to come down. Promoters watching the show.
It's promoters normally.
I know it is. Come down.
Got to put their neck on the line, haven't they? And
pull your finger out.
Offer an incentive.
Yeah, we'd love to see you down. But anyway, it's a pleasure to talk to you, Brian, and all the best for the future. And we look forward to the album and good health for the rest of the year. All the best.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks for having me on the show.
See you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.